Hey, what's up, guys? Houston here. Look, if you're struggling to get higher limits with bad credit cards, okay, here's something that you may want to consider, all right? And I continue to tell people you should try this, all right? First, go over to Credit Karma and you want to challenge all of your negative items, all right? Then you want to go over to Experian and do the same thing. Challenge your negative items. All right. Now, here's what's going to happen. This is going to affect your Vantage score. Now, why this is important? Because you're going to be focusing on going after credit cards that are using Vantage 3, Vantage 4, and FICO 9. You want to stay away from FICO 8 credit cards, okay? So you want these type of systems, all right? This is going to be your easiest play to get higher limit credit cards, especially within the next 90 days, all right? It's possibly will happen less than that, but I know for sure if do this here, it's definitely going to help you out, all right? Now, here's the thing about it. When your Vantage score goes up, all right, what you can do is I would apply for 2 department store cards. All right. Now, I usually tell you guys don't utilize department store cards, but this here is an exception because this strategy. And that's going to be with Walmart. Okay. So when you have a low credit score, more likely Synchrony is not going to give you their Visa or MasterCard. They're going to end up giving you the Walmart store card. Okay, then you want to apply for the Home Depot store card. Now, the reason why, because you can take both of those cards, go into Walmart as well as Home Depot, buy a few toiletries, and you can grab some Visa gift cards. All right. Now, with those Visa gift cards, you can take that money, you can liquidate it into like your PayPal or your Venmo. All right. And then what you want to do is, and I understand the process you may feel is too long, but I'm telling you, this is going to give you leverage, because if you transfer that money over from your Venmo account over to your checking account and then open up a secured loan, okay, you're going to go over to United Nations Federal Credit Union. You're going to do a secured loan. Now, why? Is because with their secure loans, they give you 150% of what they will allow you to utilize up to 150% of whatever you deposit. So if you deposit $1,000, you can use up to $1,500. Now, that's important because of that primary trade line that's going to be reported, and you're building a relationship with them as well. Okay, so that's going to be step 1. Then step 2 is you want to add more primary trade lines. Okay, and so you guys hear me talk about Shop IFJ. Okay, I'll put a link below. But what it is, they give you a primary trade line, $8,000 to $15,000. All you do is you go pick a piece of jewelry. Okay, they go from $100 on up. You pick a piece of jewelry, then they're going to put you on a monthly payment plan for 4 months. Now, here's the thing about it is they're going to start reporting this either $8,000 or $15,000. It just depends on the plan that you get. But at the same time, the higher the trade line, the better it is. And the reason is because it's going to push down your debt to income ratio. All right. Now, by you pushing down your debt to income ratio, this is going to give you some leverage. Now, there's one other play that you want to consider as well before you go after these here credit cards. That play is finding a loan that does not report on the credit file. All right. Now, you hear me talk about Green Dollar loan that gives up to $5,000 that does not report on the credit file. All right. You hear me talk about Viva Payday Loan that gives up to $5,000. That does not report on the credit file. Okay. Now, the reason is going after these type of loans because they don't report on the credit file. You can take that money and you can pay down your revolving debt as well. This is very important because, again, you're forcing your credit score to go up. All right. Now, in terms of the credit cards that you want to consider going after to get higher credit limit, you have the Patel One. Okay. So they have the Patel One and they have the Patel Rise. All right. So the Patel One goes up to 5,000. The Patel Rise goes up to 3,500. Now, the reason most people will end up with the Patel Rise, if you have a credit score less than 580. Okay. Now, the difference between the two is that the Patel Rise, they charge an annual fee. The Patel One does not charge an annual fee. All right. So that's going to be your first card. All right. Then, you know, a lot of people know it's very easy to get a Mission Lane card. All right. However, there's something else that you should put into play, especially when you have bad credit and you're trying to get a bad credit card. All right. And that's with Capital One. Even if you had a bad relationship with Capital One is usually pretty forgiving to give you a second, third chance, right? So the credit cards you want to have that's going to give you the highest chance of a higher credit limit increase. And I'll tell you a hack to actually do the high credit limit increase with Capital One as well. So with Capital One, you want that Saver One credit card, plus you also want to apply for the Capital One Spark Classic Gold card. That's the business credit card. Yes, it does report both on the business as well as on the personal side. Okay. However, the thing about it is being able to get into their ecosystem. Now, here's a little hack about the Capital One higher limit credit cards. Most people know that you would update your income and that you will update your rent. However, there's one other thing that's an internal thing with Capital One that many people do not talk about. And that's if you open up a checking account with Capital One. That's right. Opening up a checking account with Capital One. This also unlocks so that you can have the opportunity to get a credit limit increase on those existing credit cards. All right. Now, that being said, talking about some of these other trade lines that you can add. You can add credit.ai. All right. They'll give you a $1,500 trade line. They look at the balance from your debit card. So it's a debit card that calculates all of your utilization and they report that to the credit bureaus. Okay. Then you have Prosper, which is a bad credit card as well. Now, one other card that I would tell you if you're able to join them is Navy Federal. All right. Now, the reason why with Navy Federal, again, is being able to have not only the relationship, but that internal score. Now, the internal score with Navy Federal, many of us already know that internal score is no good for the personal loans. It's only good for credit cards. So that internal score going from 100 up to 450. Okay. And so if you're able to do direct deposit and you're able to do a flagship checking, if you're not doing the flagship checking, the regular checking is fine, just as long as you're doing at least 20 transactions, that equals to the flagship checking. Okay. Then you have the savings account. Then you have the starter CD, which is $50, and making sure that you have the pledge loan. Okay. Now, the reason that you have multiple accounts like that, because if you have bad credit, this sometimes would trigger them to bypass giving you that secured Navy Federal card and actually unlocking that unsecured Navy Federal credit card without having a long relationship with them. All right. So, like I said, if you follow those steps and you have bad credit, if you just follow those steps, and the reason, again, is because they're using Vantage 3, Vantage 4, and FICO 9, you're going to have more leverage to get higher limit credit cards, all right? So I hope this video helps you. If you have any questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.